more popular electric cars get, and Teslas get in particular, the more questions get asked about how they are long term. How expensive are they to maintain, charge, operate, or repair? We know that electric cars bring lots of savings over equivalent gas vehicles due to the simple nature of their design, but what about when something goes wrong or you get into an accident? Today we're going to break down the true cost of repairing a Tesla in the real world, so let's get into it. The main savings we hear about these days with Teslas and electric cars relate to maintenance and charging. When it comes to maintaining an electric car, quote, no oil to change, no engine to manage, with fewer parts to wear down, electric cars are cost efficient and easier to maintain than internal combustion engine vehicles. Overall, this means that there are much fewer parts to go wrong in the long run, which could make up for the higher purchase price you may see today to go electric. On top of this, quote, regenerative braking also extends the lifespan of brake pads by using the electric motor to decelerate the vehicle. Since you are rarely needing to use your true brake pads, that is a common repair that nearly disappears in EVs. For maintenance though, one expense to know about with Teslas is tires. These vehicles are heavier and allow you to accelerate much quicker than most cars. That instant torque is fun, but also wears on tires faster than cars that can't do that. Plus, they require more expensive tires than cheaper vehicles do, as one might expect. This Model 3 owner at 90,000 miles had to replace their tires 3 times and ended up paying $2,395.60 for all of those tires. When I've replaced Model Y tires in the past, it has cost me about $1,000 to replace the whole set. So I can expect that each time, and for these tires to last a little less than I may be used to in other vehicles. On the other side of things, many Tesla owners find maintenance costs to be minimal. This owner spent about $1,000 on vehicle maintenance when driving 160,000 kilometers, but they did spend a lot on tires. Over $7,000 for that 160,000 kilometers, or just under 100,000 miles. This other Model 3 owner, speaking with Electrek, drove 100,000 miles though, and ended up with a total operating cost of $4,732.11 in that time. That includes electricity, which is very impressive. So their total maintenance cost in 100,000 miles was only $1,741.11. These are the examples we're seeing which aren't usually possible in non-electric cars, although they did have a few repairs covered under warranty. Some examples of other repairs you could have can be seen in this Clean Technica article. This Model 3 owner had to remove and replace their super bottle because the car couldn't go over 50 miles per hour. That was $672.75. They had to replace their aero shield for $427 and replace the PTC cabin heater for $1,148. Their total maintenance cost in 90,000 miles was $5,441.42. When it comes to fueling costs, the difference can be staggering. Quote, electric car charging in California costs roughly half the price of powering a standard gasoline car for driving the same distance. That's California, which is known for high gas and electric prices, but depending on where you live, you could see even more significant savings charging at home. If you charge during your off-peak electric hours, it could be very cheap to charge up and drive your EV. Then for incentives, there are federal tax credits available up to $7,500, various state tax credits like the impressive $5,000 tax credit available in Colorado, utility rebates, and more. All of this could lead to you buying an electric car, spending around the same or less upfront compared to a gas vehicle, spending less to charge it, and spending less to maintain it long term. But this is an ideal scenario. What happens when something does go wrong in your Tesla? First off, you have your basic limited vehicle warranty of 4 years or 50,000 miles from Tesla. Then for the long range or performance Model 3 or all Model Ys, the battery and drive unit have their own limited warranty. That one is 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first, with minimum 70% retention of battery capacity over the warranty period. The only difference here is that for the rear-wheel drive Model 3, it's 8 years or 100,000 miles instead of 120,000. So you have that coverage right off the bat if anything were to go wrong in those particular areas. That'll be covered by Tesla. But what happens when you get into an accident? That's where things get a bit more complicated and expensive. The first thing to say here is make sure you have good insurance coverage if you're getting a Tesla. Teslas are expensive to repair, and there's no real way around it at this point in time. In fact, some studies have shown that Tesla repair costs are over 27% higher than the average car. This is in large part because Teslas are so new and exclusive, so the parts to repair are in short supply and growing demand. Quote, many of the parts aren't as mass-produced as those made for far more high-production vehicles. In addition, electric cars are newer, take certain expertise to repair, and Teslas are considered luxury cars. By definition, luxury cars are going to be more expensive to purchase and repair back to their original luxury condition. That's very much something to keep in mind here. Yes, you are buying a more expensive vehicle, but sometimes these studies are comparing Teslas to the average market, including the repair cost of mass-scaled vehicles that cost 1/2 or 1/3 as much as Teslas do. Additionally, the rare case in which you get into an accident should be covered by your insurance, so a very high repair may not affect you too much. Here's my personal experience with Tesla repairs though. It's a lot, and I'm grateful to have good insurance. I had the unfortunate experience of my 2020 Model Y being rear-ended on 2 separate occasions. One was a Turo renter getting rear-ended, and the other was me getting rear-ended. The first time it was rear-ended, the repair for the car was $8,701.33, plus more when including the PPF that needed replacing. That was pretty shocking to me at the time, but the bigger shock came the second time around. The second time, it was a bad enough accident that the vehicle lost power and couldn't drive. I learned that this was the pyro fuse, ensuring the battery was protected and would keep the car safe. In any case, that rear ending ended up costing $23,614.36. That was to get the Model Y back to as close to new as possible. The repair was impressive, but incredibly expensive nonetheless. After my $1,000 deductible, the at-fault driver's insurance ended up paying out $22,614 to have this rear ending repaired on a Model Y. This was over a year ago now, so things may have changed, but we're unfortunately still getting similar reports. Tesla is always working on bringing down vehicle cost, repair cost, and insurance cost, but we're finding in 2023 that many insurers are opting to total EVs instead of repair them. Quote, the EVs are currently so expensive to fix that many top insurance companies are writing off low mileage models and sending them to salvage auctions. According to Reuters data, of more than 120 crashed Model Ys put up for auction in December and January, the vast majority had fewer than 10,000 miles on the odometer. So that means that these cars, ranging from $60,000 to $80,000 new at the time, were totaled by insurance because their repair costs sat just under the price of buying new. Quote, for example, a 2022 Model Y long range that was involved in a front collision and listed by IAA in early January had a retail price of $61,388 and an estimated repair cost of $50,388. Another Model Y that suffered a side collision had a retail price of $72,667 and an estimated repair cost of $43,814. The insurance companies considering these low mileage Teslas too expensive to repair include State Farm, Geico, Progressive, and Farmers, among others. Of course, we don't know the extent of the damages in all of these crashes, but this is pointing to the high repair cost in Teslas in general. Another issue people have is wait time. With my $23,000 repair after a rear ending, it took 58 days between the time of the accident to the time I received the car back in repaired condition. This person was waiting 7 months for their repairs since they only had one Tesla certified shop nearby. In April, this person on Reddit had a hit and run that caused $3,000 of damage, and they were told that they would have a 3-month wait for the repair. Ryan on the Tesla owners online forums had a 5+ month wait for their repairs. Of course, these are cherry-picked stories of people specifically experiencing long waits and posting about them, while those having no wait at all likely aren't posting at all. But still, this is happening to some people, and that's not good. The other repair cost that scares people with electric cars in particular is battery cost. If the battery goes bad and needs replacing out of warranty and outside of an accident, how much is that going to run you? Oftentimes people have misconceptions about EV batteries. In large part, I think it's because batteries have changed so much in the last few decades. The technology has come a long way, but of course, electric cars use huge batteries. We measure EV batteries in kilowatt hours, which are 1,000 times more than watt hours. So a quick comparison here would be that a modern MacBook Air has a battery capacity of 49.9 watt hours. Take a Tesla Model Y on the other hand, and this car will have a battery that's around 81 kilowatt hours or 81,000 watt hours. So that means that certain things that affect small batteries may not be noticeable in these huge battery packs and vice versa. The most interesting thing about Tesla battery replacement costs is that so far, the Model S has been the main car that has been seeing battery replacements. The Model 3 and Y are new enough that we don't have much data on those pack replacements, since most of those cars, back to 2017, still have their original battery pack. Most are still under battery warranty as well. The main battery pack issues we've heard about have come from other brands, like Chevy needing to recall almost all bolts due to battery issues. But for Tesla, battery replacement data is mostly for older Model S's and X's, or accident-related replacements to Model 3s or Ys. As of 2020, a Tesla owner receiving a Model 3 pack replacement was quoted $13,500 for the pack itself and $2,229.27 for the labor. That was a total of $15,799.27, which equals about $180 per kilowatt hour. Other data shows pack replacements coming in as low as $10,000 to $12,000. Recurrent, one of the main companies gathering this data, specifies, though, we encourage people not to focus on the average cost of an EV battery replacement because it varies so much by make and model. Instead, check the remaining warranty information on a particular vehicle, then look at the replacement rate and cost for that model. As for the Model S, Recurrent data shows a pack replacement in 2021 costing around $12,000 to $15,000. In 2020, though, a Model S owner was quoted $20,000 for a replacement of their 2014 Model S battery pack. Then two others were quoted around $22,000 for replacements on 2012 and 2013 Model S packs out of warranty. Right there, it's pretty clear that if you needed a battery pack replacement in a Tesla, it would be expensive. Long-term, costs are expected to come down, though. Quote, according to the Department of Energy, the cost of an EV's lithium-ion battery fell 89% from $1,355 per kilowatt hour in 2008 to $153 per kilowatt hour in 2022. The agency attributes the drastic drop to improvements in battery technology and an increase in manufacturing volume. So when buying a Tesla today, if 8 years down the line you need a battery pack replacement out of warranty, the hope is that it will be much cheaper to replace and will ultimately make sense or be less than the maintenance of a gas car at similar mileage. Plenty of Tesla owners are exceeding 100,000 miles on their original battery pack, and it's very impressive. I actually did a full video on the 1 million mile Tesla and many other long-lasting Teslas, and that's linked below. What's clear is that just because the battery warranty is 8 years doesn't mean the battery will only last that long. These batteries are lasting longer or for more miles, especially in the real world on average. So how often is a replacement actually required? JD Power says that no matter the model or manufacturer, all EV batteries last for 10 to 20 years. That's a pretty wide range and depends on a number of factors just like any car. Using real-world data as well, Recurrent found that only 1.5% of EV batteries needed replacing after looking at 15,000 cars in depth, especially considering the fact that they're looking at many first-generation electric vehicles from a few brands. That's pretty impressive. As you can see on this chart, older cars are the ones that have needed the majority of pack replacements, and it's important to note that the cars in blue had actual battery recalls. So far, it's incredibly slim for the Model Y and 3, and this overall number averages to 1.5%, excluding the issues related to a battery defect. For Tesla, the model needing the most pack replacements is the original 2013 Model S. 8.5% of those cars have required a replacement. That was Tesla's first ever EV, and battery technology has come a long way since then. They use a different form factor in most of their cars now, different chemistries in some cases, and have generally improved battery cooling and management systems for future cars. So not only is battery replacement cost coming down, but technology is improving to help them last even longer. Still, of course, we can't rule that out though. The fact that there is a 1.5% chance of replacement looking back to 2012, and that these packs could potentially be up to $22,000 is an expensive repair to consider. I would definitely consider that if I was buying an old used Model S at this point. Going forward though, I'm most curious to see how it works with the Model 3 and Y. It'll be very interesting to see what the data shows 5 or 10 years from now as to how often these batteries need replacing, especially since Tesla is scaling these up drastically. Most experts in the field are expecting that this will not be an issue. Battery pack replacements will be rare enough and affordable enough that it won't be an issue, but time will tell. As I mentioned, we just don't have the data on it yet like we do with other Tesla repairs since the battery packs are still kicking in most cases. On top of that, battery packs can be recycled, so recycling will be a huge part of the battery supply chain long term. That should help bring down cost further so that you get your car's battery replaced after a long run well over 100,000 miles with a remanufactured recycled battery pack that's cheaper. Then you get even more life out of your electric car and keep the savings going. Other costs to consider with Teslas, though, in addition to unforeseen maintenance and tires, might be insurance. With a Tesla, at this point, in many cases, you're taking on a higher purchase price, but finding your monthly cost to even out due to savings on fuel and other things we mentioned earlier. However, as we talked about, that means that when an accident does happen, the repair cost is higher than the average gas-powered vehicle that could drive you the same distance. To insure a Model 3 in the US, NerdWallet found an average cost of about $2,115 per year, or around $176 per month. They say that's around 30% higher than the national average. They found Louisiana has the highest cost at $3,731 annually, and Ohio has the lowest cost at $1,308 annually. One move here in that case could be to opt for Tesla insurance. Tesla knows that insurance companies are charging higher rates for their cars, but Tesla also has the data behind how often accidents occur and how their own safety systems help to prevent them. For that reason, they offer their own insurance. Currently, it's available in 12 states within the US: Arizona, California, Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, Minnesota, Nevada, Ohio, Oregon, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. What's more interesting there too is that in all states aside from California, Tesla offers a real-time insurance rate that adapts your rate based on your vehicle's safety score. So it takes into account the way that you drive and will charge you less if you are a very cautious, safe driver. Quote, unlike other telematics or usage-based insurance products, Tesla does not require an additional device to be installed in your vehicle. Tesla uses specific features within the vehicle to evaluate your premium based on your actual driving. You will make monthly payments based on your driving behavior instead of traditional factors like credit, age, gender, claim history, and driving records used by other insurance providers. It's an interesting difference from traditional insurance and is a way that many Tesla owners have been able to save on higher insurance costs when deciding to go electric. Tesla is constantly expanding and hopes to be available everywhere in the future. Overall, Teslas are a mix of a number of things. Repair costs are high, but often covered by insurance. As a result, though, insurance rates can be high, but Tesla insurance can help you pay less in 12 states. Maintenance on average is much lower than the equivalent gas vehicle, but there are still out-of-warranty repairs you may need to cover during ownership. Tires are typically more expensive than many are used to, but you can make up those savings with the significant savings you'll see charging instead of paying for gas. Then battery replacements are also rare, but when they happen at this point can be expensive. Those are all things to consider when buying a Tesla, and I hope this video was helpful for you. The most important thing as a buyer would be to compare these costs with other cars and see what your personal cost of ownership may be. In the meantime, if you want to see the latest Tesla news, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.